What's up everybody, and welcome back to another action figure review. Today I'm checking out Storm Collectibles Motaro from Mortal Kombat. Now there are two versions of this action figure, this one being the 2020 New York Comic Con exclusive. The main difference between this and the original is that this Motaro is completely covered in blood, as if he just brutally massacred somebody.
Finish him! Savage fatality.
This is my first Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat action figure, and I'm pretty damn excited to be starting out with this guy. He's huge, he's mean, and he's one of the biggest baddies in the entire franchise. I've seen the entire Storm Collectibles line, and holy Motaro does it look incredibly awesome. Unfortunately, most of the action figures are currently sold out and unavailable, but I do hope that there's a re-release, because I insta-buy them all, especially Goro. Now I love mythical centaurs, so Motaro is right up my alley and my kind of character. However, the only time players can use him in-game was in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, where he actually had human legs and, well, was not a centaur. He was badass, but not a centaur. To be completely honest, I really enjoyed his character in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. He does actually get to kick some serious ass, and he's probably one of the best parts of the entire film. But that's not saying much. I do have one big concern about this guy. You hear that? I have no idea what it is, but it ain't secure and I'm a bit scared. So before I make things even worse, let's take a closer look at Storm Collectibles Motaro from Mortal Kombat. And here it is everybody, our Storm Collectibles Motaro action figure. And let's just start off by saying this box and package is huge. Look how massive it is. It's bigger than 12 inches long, and it's about 10 inches, 12 inches high almost, so very large package here. Inside you can see, thankfully because of this window box, on here we have the Mortal Kombat 9 branding down at the bottom here, Motaro's name down here in this awesome font, really love that, and a cool shot, half face shot of Motaro on the cover here. And what's great about this box is that the other half of Motaro is on the side, so you get that full image of Motaro on that angle. Really love that. Very cool idea that Storm Collectibles did there. And on the back here we have some cool product shots of Motaro. You can see how much blood he's covered in. But all in all, amazing packaging here, guys. And yeah, that's it, guys. So there is the packaging for our Mortal Kombat Motaro from Storm Collectibles. So now I'm gonna go ahead and bust this guy out of here. Poor packaging job, I am not gonna lie. I'm not very impressed. That rattling was actually, I guess, a stand for something. Damn, that looks pretty outstanding, guys. Yeah, you can see that he is covered with this little plastic sheeting here, and it looks like we have some of the accessories falling out. So we have all his hands up top here, we have his head, love that, looks fantastic. We have his energy ball right here. These actually plug in here, there we go. So you can actually set this up and it'll look like he's actually shooting something. Big fan of this little skeleton guy. Oh, I love how he has a little piece of cotton in there. Really love this skeleton. He seems to have full articulation and a wide variety of hands. Wrist replacers in case they break off. And last but not least, let's pull out Motaro. Damn, guys. Wow. Look how awesome this guy looks, everyone. Wow, I am kind of blown away just at a first glance. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and take some time to look at this guy, play around with him, check out his articulation, and of course, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about his paint job and all these awesome accessories. So here is our Storm Collectibles Motaro, everybody, and he looks absolutely marvelous. right out of the box. I am absolutely in love with this guy. However, of course, there are a couple things that I'm a little concerned about. I want to start off by checking out the sculpt on this guy as well as the details and the paint job. And regarding the paint job, as you can see, he is completely covered in blood from hoof to face. Head to tail, I guess, or hoof to tail. Yeah, look at all the blood on this guy's tail. You can see lots of different red colors for different tones, different colors of blood. Some of it is a little shiny. Very, very cool. Lots of bright red on his chest as if it's nice and fresh. Splatter happening there. But the paint job is very nice on this guy. We do have some nice coloring on the orange on his main torso here. Love the paint job on his tail. You have the nice silver metallic all throughout, and then you have some black dry brushing down here in each of these quadrants of the tail, and we have some great brown hair looking paint right on the back of Motaro here, as you can see. And it does have a little bit of a dry brush, just a tiny bit, just so that the hair can stick out. I do love this piece of armor that goes underneath Motaro's belly, and that is what keeps his tail nice and safe. That's why you can use his tail as a weapon. It's protected, and there isn't that much paint on here. Again, it's just silver with a little bit of black dry brush. The chest, you can tell that there's a nice gradient from this beige, bright yellowish, to the orange, to the darker orange and the browns and whatnot. So I love the paint job on his face. You see a lot of cool dry brushing on there. The lines in his face, in his mouth, in his eyes. You can actually see that he's wearing like black eyeliner. Kind of makes his eyes stick out really well. There's actually no dry brushing on the horns, surprisingly, and on his hooves too. There's not a single ounce of dry brushing on his hooves, so they don't stick out at all. I wish there was a little bit of, a gray on there, even if it's a dark gray, just to bring out those blacks. I mean, I'm not expecting much from fingernails, but at least they went that route and painted his nails black, so I do appreciate that. You can see a lot of dirt here on his bicep, his traps, and his forearm, the back of his hand here. The sculpt overall on this guy is really, really good. As you can see, he looks like a horse. I love the horse muscles, the horse anatomy on here. You can really see it. Looks fantastic, straight out of Mortal Kombat 3. He looks absolutely perfect, but there are some issues. Let me just start right here. You can see, look at that size of that gap there just for moving the horse leg. Now, you're not going to escape this when you're making a horse action figure. I understand, but that is a really, really big gap that to me is unnecessarily large. Actually, the coloring is a little off from this belly area and on his legs. His legs are like a straight dark orange, and then the coloring right here is that light orange beige. So it does look a little bit off. The one issue, the big issue I have with this guy is the chest area here. Now you can see that I'm pressing in his chest and it's going in. It is rubber. It is absolute rubber, and I can press and basically touch my fingers to the other side. That being said, he's basically hollow. It looks really, really bad, and when you're positioning, and you know what? You guys just saw that. His arm does come off from time to time. It is easy to put on. You just slap that in there like that, and you just pop it in. You heard a little bit of a click, and it's in. That's cool. I actually do like that because, it gives him that butterfly movement that a lot of those McFarlane Toys action figures have. But back to the chest here. So if you're like moving his arms a certain position, you can see a real big gap in there, especially right there. You see that awful gap. Or if you're if you're posing him from the back, you lean him forward, you can see everything that is actually inside his torso, and it looks god-awful. Same if you lean him back a bit, you can see what's up inside of his abdomen, and his upper torso just shifts. You see that? It just kind of moves, and let's not forget, you guys are hearing how squeaky he is, right? Like everything you move squeaks. He's very squeaky. But that's my big issue here. Even when you put on a head, look how thin his neck looks. Like if you were to push down his chest all the way, his neck doesn't even touch the the rubber down here, which is really, really bad. You can see the little stick, the support holding his head up. So you actually kind of have to like lift that torso area up just so his neck looks like it's beefy and it connects to his head. Not impressed with the torso up here. I wish they stuck with a harder plastic. Besides that, guys, everything about this action figure I'd say is pretty darn cool. His tail, amazing. I love that there is like a wire built in to his tail so that you can actually position that wherever you want. Now, he's got some really nice muscle definition on his chest and his arms. Let's just take a little look here. You have some nice bicep muscles. Everything's basically mirrored right down the middle. But he has an excellent looking torso. But he does have a nice 6-pack, 8-pack. You can grate some cheese on there. Nice arms, nice forearm muscles as well. You can see right there. Beautiful, beautiful sculpt. His shoulders look fantastic. You can really see all those muscle fibers. Very cool. You can see lots of veins in his forearm and in the back of his hands. His legs, like I said, are very defined, and you can really see it depending on what light you look in. But look at that. Look at all the muscle definition in those legs. Now, speaking of his legs, I do find that his legs are a little bit too thin, in my opinion, especially his front legs. He looks very bulky everywhere else except these legs. You'd think that his legs would be a little bit thicker. And his hooves actually looks very boring and plain. I want to mention his spikes on his elbows and his hooves. They will hurt a lot. I'm telling you, I was bleeding after playing around with this guy because of his spikes, especially his elbow. That's the one that got me real good. His horns on his head don't actually hurt because they are rubber, so you could bend them and move them. That is his standard head, so closed mouth, which looks awesome. Here's the alternate head. It is a open jaw. He's screaming, and I will actually replace it right now. So you just pop it off. It comes off pretty easily, and it pops on fairly easily as well. And there we go. We have the screaming head on, and let's just push his torso up so it doesn't look awful. And there we go. So I love that head. You know, again, the paint job is very well done. The blood splatters aren't in the same spot, but that doesn't matter. It's totally fine. But overall, guys, I prefer this head over the other one just because he looks more, he's pissed off. I love that he looks so angry. It's awesome. Aside from his head, he did come with 4 additional hands. So he came with a open palm hand, no sense of grip on this. It's more for posing. The left open hand, he has the left closed fist, which is amazing, and he has the right hand fist. Again, no blood on there, and he comes with a right-handed open palm. Lots of blood on this one. Really love it. So, and then he comes with these semi-grip open hands here. Very nice. Probably the best hands of the set, and he can grip on to his prey. While we have this guy here, let's check him out. He is a fully functional action figure skeleton, and just because we have not 1 pair, not 2 pair, but 4 different pairs of hands for this skeleton. Anything from a closed grip hand or a closed fist hand, very cool, to a semi-open hand where you can actually put something in there if you have accessories. I don't know why he is super green. I don't recall Motaro being able to spit acid on anybody and melting their flesh, so he turns green like this. As far as I know, he doesn't glow in the dark, but very cool skeleton. He doesn't come with a spare head, unfortunately, but he comes with a cool articulated jaw. And now we're gonna go over all of his articulation as well as that skeleton and just see exactly what this guy can do. So we're gonna start with his hooves. Alright, so we have a little joint. You can move that up and down here, guys. Not that much movement up and down, but it's more than enough. But it does rotate side to side. And then the next joint right here, you have nice movement up and down. With extra squeak on this joint, it doesn't rotate or pivot or anything, it just moves up and down. And then you have this knee joint, I guess it's like the first knee, and it also just moves up and down. It does not rotate or spin. And then his thigh, it can rotate about, 90 degrees halfway. I have been able to rotate it all the way, but I did pop his leg off by doing so. And because you won't ever need to do that, I'm not gonna try it. So his leg does go about this far before stressing it and, you know, risk busting and breaking it off. And it does move out a little bit. Perhaps this movement's a little too loose. I do find myself when I'm trying to pose him that his legs do kind of move in a little bit. And because these joints are loose in general, his legs just kind of collapse on each other, as you can see. So he does have, similar to the back leg, he does have the up and down movement here. And he does have a rotation, again, just like the back leg, so up and down. He does have movement up and down here in this first or second knee, toe, whatever you want to call it. It also rotates, unlike the one in the back. That one didn't rotate. This one up front does rotate, so you can move it and position it on a different angle, like so. I guess you want to call that his thigh as well. It is very squeaky, but it doesn't really go down at all. It doesn't move down. It does move up a little bit and about that far at most, but it does move in and out like that, and it does leave that awful gap that I mentioned earlier. Let's move up to his lower torso here. It does rotate very well. He does have a little bit of movement up and down, not that much, but I'd say it's enough. And he does have a mid-torso movement, not that much. Again, it's very squeaky, so sorry, my bad. But he can move it up and down a little bit, and he can rotate that as well, with some squeak included. When you tilt him forward, you can actually see what's happening, the mechanics underneath, and it looks so bad under there, I have to stress, guys. But that is his torso. Let's move on up to his arms. So his arms go up all the way as high as you would ever want his arms to go. Very good articulation, not gonna lie. He does have a butterfly chest or butterfly arms, so you can move them in and out like so. I love that. I love that action figures have that. And you can rotate his shoulder, of course, and you can move in his arm like that, you know. There you go. So he has that butterfly, then he has the shoulder movement in and out. He has the bicep rotation, very good. And then he has a double jointed elbow, not bad. And then he can straighten it back out all the way, and his wrist spins all the way, and it does have a wrist rocker, I guess, so you can rotate it any way you want, move it any way you want. His wrists come off a lot simpler and a lot easier than you'd expect. And then let's move on up to his head, so he can look up and down like that. You can rotate it. Again, it's on a peg, and he has some pretty good, he has some pretty good movement up and down. But as I said earlier, you can see that peg in there that his head connects to on his neck, and it looks god-awful. Now, let's move to the tail. Tail's awesome. I love the tail. So he could actually rotate it right here at the butt, so you can rotate it all the way around. Now, there is a wire that extends from this point, from his butt, basically, all the way to about here. You can actually feel where the wire comes off. And then this last 1.5 inches where the spear is just rubber. You can't articulate it or anything. So you can really do whatever you want with it, curl it however you like. Love this wire, love the tail. It's one of my favorite parts on this guy. That is the articulation on Motaro. I'm just gonna put him aside real quick, and we're gonna check out the skeleton accessory that he comes with. So he does have some nice articulation in the ankle. It is an ankle rocker, so you can rotate it, move it up and down, move it left and right. He does have a nice toe bend. This is a single jointed knee. Nice movement in the knee. Like, look at that, it's amazing. It can rotate all the way around in case you want to break your opponent's knee. His thigh also rotates. It'll come off easily too. There you go, it just came off. It rotates, it moves up and down. It's basically on a rocker, like ankle rocker joints. That's what all these joints are, so you can like rotate at any angle you want. So he does have really cool articulation in the spine or in the waist here. So he has this bottom joint here where you can move up and down. Again, you can rotate it, spin it, and then he has this upper spinal articulation where he can move it up and down, again, spin it. Lots of movement you can get out of this guy, like crazy, right? Even Motaro has more articulation in the shoulders. Again, single jointed, and it can rotate, and that's it. And then he has the single jointed elbow. Looks like it's broken there. Very cool. You can rotate it as well. And then his wrist also rotates, has a wrist rocker, so move it up and down, rotate it. And to replace his wrists, just pop it off, take the other wrist, and you just pop it on. And then his head rotates and it moves up and down fairly well. And then he does have a cool articulated jaw. And that's it for the skeleton and his articulation, guys. These pegs are a little bit thicker. You won't have to worry about breaking them. They're not gonna break on you guys. You just push it in there. If something happens to these wrists, never fear, because Storm Collectibles does provide you with 2 extra wrist joints. And there is all the articulation on Motaro and his best friend, Skelly. The thing that was causing all the noise in the box, his fireball. I love that it kind of glows through the light. You can actually see it now. It looks cool, works well for this guy as an accessory. And that is officially all the accessories that Motaro comes with. Here, I just want to show you guys the size comparison versus the McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11 action figure line. And Motaro himself stands at around 10 inches. So very, very tall action figure. Motaro looks like he fits perfect in with this action figure line. He looks the size that he should be in comparison to these McFarlane Toys. And I can't wait to display this Motaro alongside these guys. I think he looks fantastic. So overall, this Motaro action figure from Storm Collectibles is pretty awesome. At first, I was a little skeptical just because of that rubber torso that I so absolutely hate. But in the end, it's not really that big of a deal. And if you are a collector of anything Mortal Kombat, you absolutely need to have this Motaro. I don't think I've ever seen a Motaro action figure before, and this one is absolutely amazing. He's big, he's bulky, he has an amazing sculpt, to say the least. Like, look at how beautiful this guy is. And his articulation for a centaur is absolutely awesome. The accessories that he comes with are all right. Honestly, I don't think he really needs the skeleton accessory, and his fireball accessory is okay. I wish there was something more accessory-wise. His hands are great, perfect amount. You know, I don't think I need more than a closed fist and a semi-open fist, which is great. I love his head sculpt with the open mouth and the closed mouth as well. He just looks so awesome. He's covered in blood. He is a muscular monster beast, and he screams Motaro. I'm definitely gonna be playing around with the tail a lot in the coming weeks, days, forever, as long as I have this guy. All right, everyone. Thanks for checking out my review of Storm Collectibles Motaro from Mortal Kombat. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a like, comment down below, and let me know if you have this action figure and what you like or don't like about it. Do let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're into action figure reviews. I'll be posting more photos of Motaro on my Instagram, which you can check out at Claudio_Paola. And if you haven't yet, do consider following my other Instagram account, which is at Claudio's Collection. Thanks a lot for watching, and you can catch me in the next one.